Hi guys, as I was preparing for this video, I learned that 80% of autistic preschoolers suffer of sleep disruption. Not only that, but autistic kiddos are twice as likely to have sleep problems compared to the neurotypical child. In addition to that, autistic kids are also taking about 11 minutes longer to fall asleep, and they are spending 8% less of their total sleep in REM sleep. REM sleep is critical for learning and for memory consolidation. It is a restorative state of sleep. It helps us feel better and active the next morning, and just by default, they're spending less time in this type of sleep. Now, although we can't change how much time they spend during sleep time, we can do some stuff to help them feel more comfortable and hopefully spend longer times sleeping. But before we get to that, I want to shed attention to the consequences of having poor sleep. One of the biggest consequences is poor social skills, right? Kids on the spectrum are going to be more irritable like anybody else if you're sleeping less, right? Another thing, it increases aggression, depression, and hyperactivity among autistic individuals. It also correlates with poor learning and poor cognitive performance. And also individuals that are spending less time sleeping tend to be more easily distracted. And perhaps the biggest tip I have for you is this one tip. And it is to consider your child's environment and how it is affecting his sensitivities, okay? For instance, does your child have sensitivities to touch, right? So what kind of clothing is he using? Have we taken off all the tags? Are we using special clothing that will feel more comfortable? You know, there's nothing wrong with just sleeping with underwear or just diapers or just sleeping with the same type of onesie every night. Whatever it is that your child needs to have on their body to feel comfortable, go with it. Also, what is their sensitivity to light? You know, do they want it dark, right? So perhaps getting blackout curtains. Do they need a light? You know, consider that. I'm going to give you both options because autistic individuals are so different, right? What works for one child may not work for the other. Another thing is, what are their hearing sensitivities, right? Do they like white noise to kind of feel more relaxed? Do they like the sound of ocean? Or are they sensitive to that and they will perhaps benefit from having earplugs or headphones while they sleep? In terms of touch, we want to also consider, you know, does my child relax when I give him a massage? You know, do I need to give him deep compression in the joints? Is that going to ease him into sleeping better, right? We want to think of that. In terms of vestibular and proprioceptive, like we want to make sure is rocking soothing for him, right? Should I rock him for a while? Should I swing him? Does bouncing on a trampoline help him relax? Just figure out what kind of things help them relax and do it right before bedtime. If possible, in their bedroom while the lights are down a little bit or the light is a little dark or the room is a little darker. And the last thing is smell. Sometimes smells are very soothing. Lavender is used many times in aromatherapy to relax and induce sleep. So try that. Perhaps that can help your child. Or don't try it if he is very sensitive to smells, right? There's other smells like peppermint. There is different types of essential oils you can use in a diffuser that might be relaxing to your child. So play around with that a little. Now on to the next tip, and this one's perhaps the hardest one for parents, and that is to establish a bedtime routine, okay? When establishing a bedtime routine, there's two things to keep in mind. The first one, and very important one, is to stay true to your wake time and bedtime. Okay, so you need to be able to stay true to that, or else establishing a routine is not going to work. The second thing to keep in mind is the sequence of actions that take place for bedtime. So if there's always a book, make sure there's always a book. If there's bath time first, you do that, right? So a typical routine here would be bath, books, massage, then a white music, and then cuddles, and then I step out. That's my routine with my child, right? For autistic individuals, routine is key. They thrive on it. They need to know there's less anxiety when they know what is coming, when they know what is expected, because sometimes social cues are very difficult for them. So they see everybody going to bed. That doesn't cue them like, hey dude, it's bedtime. It's time to go to sleep. They don't always understand those cues. So it is important to establish a routine that will, clearly snap that little switch and say, hey, it is bedtime, huh? This is what we do every night. This is what is expected. Now, the other tip I have for you is consider any side effects that your child's medication may have. If your child's on any medication, make sure that side effects aren't sleeping problems, that that they are not causing irritability in their stomach or something that may disrupt their sleep. And if there is, talk to your child's doctor, and consider other options, because as you already know, sleep is important. So it is important to advocate for our kids. And if that medication isn't working, let's find a better one. Okay, guys? Now, another thing I want you to consider is that some kids that are on the spectrum have a genetic mutation that alters the way that they produce serotonin and melatonin, right? And melatonin is our hormone, our sleepy hormone. Some autistic kids that do suffer or that do have that mutation, so therefore they're not producing as much melatonin as the typical person is, and that may cause issues with falling asleep. Talk to your child's pediatrician and consider taking, giving your child melatonin supplements. Another thing that I can personally advocate for is weighted blankets. I feel like these are a wonderful tool to have, especially for a child on the spectrum. They benefit from all of the things that a weighted blanket can provide. And one of them is with the secretion of melatonin. So this can basically be a body hack by using a weighted blanket. If you're interested and want to find out more as to how weighted blankets work, I will link the video down below. So consider buying your child a weighted blanket. Now, another tip that I want to share with you is that whatever stimulating activity your child engages in, we want to make sure we cut that off an hour and a half before bedtime. So that could be video games, that could be watching TV, any of those things. Just you want to make sure you cut them off an hour and a half before bedtime. And the key here is if it's stimulating for your child. There are some kids that get the benefit of relaxation and being soothed by watching the same TV show every night before bed. So that's why if your child is like that, if TV comforts them, I'm not telling you to take that away. Anything that's stimulating, we do want to take away, whatever that may be for your child, okay? Now, another tip, and this is my final tip for the video, is consider relaxation techniques, okay, for your child. And that could be deep compressions, right, through the body. That could be massaging your child, right? That could be, again, wrapping them tight in a blanket. That could be just you singing to them or playing a song for them, helping them breathe, right? If your child suffers with anxiety around bedtime, we want to teach them at your early age on how to do belly breaths. So you want to make sure you're tapping into that or helping your child, learn coping mechanisms for relaxation before bedtime. I want you to keep in mind that in some instances, you'll be able to see positive results in 2 or 3 nights of changing or doing any of these tips, right? However, it can, for some kids, take up to 3 weeks. If it's already been 3 weeks and you've explored many avenues to make your child, help your child be more comfortable, and nothing is helping, if your child's still waking up or having a hard time sleeping, I want you to really talk to your child's pediatrician, because it can be a sign of a sleep disorder, okay? So there's many ways to rule out a sleep disorder. Whatever avenue is available for you through your insurance to do a sleep disorder test, go ahead and take it if you are concerned that it's not typical sleep disruption. So when in doubt, always talk to your pediatrician, okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have learned something new. If you really like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you on our next one. Bye.